Alright, hello, welcome to Drawing for Absolute Beginners. I'm Peter Anton and I'm here today to show you how to practice your arcs and waves. Now an arc goes like this, like a rainbow. It can also be like the bottom of a boat. It can also be like a sea. Anything that's just like this, doesn't matter if it's upside down, sideways, left or right. I'm going to refer to it as an arc, and then a wave I'm going to refer to as anything that's like boop, 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 or an S-curve, whether it's shallow or deep, whether it's bottom heavy or top heavy. I'm going to refer to all that as waves. And then we're going to go into the first exercise, which is connect the dots. This is almost the same thing as we did with straight lines. Remember, with straight lines, we just took dot to dot. Let's try to draw a straight line. Okay? Same thing, but we're going to do it with arcs. We're going to find a dot, dot, and we're going to ghost our line, which means we draw the line without putting our pencil on the paper. And then we go. Okay? If we don't get it right, we try again. Boop. And then we can go same thing, but upside down. Boop. Boop. And if we missed, that's okay. Now, one thing you can do to challenge yourself if you're finding that super easy, you can either go very far apart and try doing it that way, or you can have dots close together, but you have to make it steeper, and you have to hit this dot up above. So now you got 3 dots you have to think about. So you have to calculate that just right in order to make it happen. And that's a lot harder. Boop. So I'm not going to get it perfect here, but you can see that's pretty close. That the more you practice it, the better you're going to get. And then waves, same exact thing. I'm going to do it vertically. We're going to go from one dot to the other with an S-curve. We're going to ghost our line, and then we're going to go. And if we get it wrong, we just say, okay, I need to lengthen it out a bit. Okay? And if you're doing this on paper and not in Photoshop, which I would advise, don't worry about erasing. Just do this with a pen. And every time you do a new one, just use something cheap so you can keep doing new ones. Instead of worrying about erasing it every time, just get a new sheet of paper. And if you're finding, okay, well, this is pretty consistently a problem area for me, then just focus on that curve. So maybe you go in and say, okay, I'm having problems creating an arc like this. So then you go back to the arc exercise, and then you go like this. And wow, that's a huge problem area for me. So it's just like working out. When you find a weak muscle, you work it out until you strengthen it, and then you bring it back into the hole. So isolate it, strengthen it, and then bring it back in. So whenever you find a weakness, target it with another exercise, and then try that exercise again. A way to make the waves more challenging, you can do the exact same thing where you either make the distance larger, go like that, try to hit it like that, or you add an extra dot, and now you have to hit the dot in the middle as well. So if we're moving on from connect the dots, we're going to go into Makin Bacon, and this is just for waves. The idea here is that you're making parallel waves and connecting them with straight lines. So here, S-curve, connect. And see, we got a strip of bacon. And you can do that with multiple. The more lines you have, the harder it's going to be, like that. Now you got to make it parallel, and then you got to connect them with straight lines. And the only thing to note with the straight lines is try not to have them going out like this. That's just a basic perspective rule, that when lines are going back in space, you want to have them converge. So just if you err on the side of having them go in rather than out, like that. And you can do this like this, you can do this, you can try it vertically. Oops. Boop, 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 boo. Boo doo 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 doo. Boop, boop. You can make magic carpets. Ooh. Or you can imagine this is like a sheet of paper. Or you can just think of them as strips of bacon. You can also do this with C-curves if you want. I just find it more fun with waves. So that would be the second exercise. And then the final exercise would be fishnets, which I like to do with arcs, which is just you take an arc and you make a few of them, and then you just layer on top of each other, kind of like cross-hatching with straight lines, only we're doing it with curved. And then you can start to imagine, even though we're not in doing forms yet, you can start to imagine these as 3D forms as you make these arcs. Let's see, maybe something like this. Get straighter as we move towards the center, so we'll make them gradually shallower, make them steeper as we go out. And then we'll go an arc here, boom, 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 boom. And you can begin to see how that suggests a spherical shape, even though we're just doing arcs. So you can do that, you can practice various things. You can practice what happens if I make it steeper, what if I make it more almond-shaped, and then just try imagining what kind of creature this would be. Like, would this be some kind of fruit or nut? Would this be, maybe it's like an elephant's trunk? Just use your imagination on this and have fun with it. And it's just a low-key way to practice arcs while also getting used to the idea of, oh, this could maybe be, scales wrapping around a tail. Or it could just be a fishnet being thrown into the sea. Or it could be, a basketball. Or it could be a can of tuna. So just play around with that, and there's really no rules on this. Just have fun and loosen up your hand. That's the point of this beginner series, is just for you to have fun drawing. Because if you're missing the fun of drawing, you're missing everything. Like, yeah, you should have periods of super serious study where you're studying anatomy and you're going super deep into things. You should definitely have that, because you won't improve if you don't. But also make sure you're having fun. Because without the fun, there's really no point. So make sure as you're working hard, studying diligently, also just make sure you're taking time to have fun and enjoying the process. So that's going to be all for this third video. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, my darling ducks. I hope you enjoyed.